This is the No Drama Dharma podcast of the Khyentse Centre for Contemplative Traditions for the University of Leipzig. Today I am speaking with Frederico Trancoso from Brazil, actually living in the US. Mainly, you're the retreat master, the Drupern of the retreat center of Pema Osel Ling in the mountains of Santa Cruz. And beside it, you're also working as a chaplain. I'm so glad that you could make it and that you can share a bit about the work as a retreat master and yourself as a practitioner of the Dujom Tersa tradition. Then, for those who are not acquainted, this in the larger sense is part of the Nyingma tradition of Tibetan Buddhism, so that the Dujom Tersa is you can say a yogic lineage, a lineage that is not very much based on monastic institutions, but more on yogic practice, and practice plays a big part of this lineage. Yeah, as a retreat guide, as a retreat master, what role does retreat play in the general practice of your tradition?
Well, first of all, retreat master, it's a little too pompous for myself. I'm not. The day after Lama Tharchin Rinpoche passed away, Lama Swanam said, okay, now you are the Drupen. After we met with Dinjong Yangsu Rinpoche, the word he would use is Drubla. When they talk about the word Drub means realization, accomplishment, siddhi. And the place where you accomplish Drub, it's the edge around it, the dra. So Drub, dra, edge of threshold. And what you do inside of Drub, dra, you do Drub, hab, which would be the Tibetan word for sadhana. Even though our Drub, dra, our retreat facility is not dedicated exclusively to Drup Tab, to sadhana, still we use this expression. When we talk about Drup Dra, about a retreat facility, in particular this 3-year retreat facility, the way Lama Tharchin ideally thought it would be a place where we could have a proper space for the whole path, starting from Ngondru, so where everybody could do their Ngondru and finish their 100,000s, including the Guru Yoga, that in Lama Tharchin's ideal world would be 100,000s, and then starts the sadhana practice, the Dhruv Tab, the 3 roots, and go through the completion stage we call Anu Yoga. That would be comparable to what is more popularly known as the 6 yogas. And finally, the Great Perfection, and all phases of the Great Perfection, including the preliminaries and the 2 different stages that are classic done in Great Perfection. We have space for that. The only thing that we were not able to fulfill in Rinpoche's lifetime was a dark retreat facility, but it will come. It will come. Okay, having created a framework of what is inside of Drupda, what the Drupern does. Well, Pern means captain, like the captain of a ship. So I have no idea what I really do. When Lama Tharchin was around, alive, he said, okay, you are not going to go out of Drupda. We are going to keep living here, inside. Okay, Rinpoche, so what I'm going to do? And he said, tell them how to do the tormas, how to play the instruments, and especially how to not kill each other. I'm pretty good with not killing other people, but it was a learning curve trying to convey this idea to others. And I remember the week before Lama Tharchin passed, less than a week, I asked, okay, Rinpoche, is that what you want me to do? And he said, yeah, I think that's okay. Keep doing what you're doing. So I never really had a clear job description. But after Lama Tarchin passed away, the retreat master became Lama Pema Dorje. And our procedure was primarily he would come and teach the whole material for the next retreat. We have segments of 3 to 6 months, depending on what the retreatants are doing. And the Lama Pema Dorje say, okay, I thought now you unpack.
Like the zip file and the unzipping, or
exactly, precisely. So that's what I did for the years Lama Pema Dorje was our retreat master. Then for the last retreat in particular, both Lama Sonam and Lama Tarchin Rinpoche, Sangyum Pema Dechen, they decided that it would be best if we could actually listen to Lama Tarchin's teachings on his own voice. And I would, again, unpack, which, again, just to be very clear, I don't have any realization. I never went to Buddhist school, so I don't have any education. But I have one thing that is positive. I'm a good parent. Yeah, I'm a good parent of Lama Tarchin.
I mean, in our previous exchanges, I remember fondly your actually exceptional memory for oral stories and hints of practice. And with you, I would also like to introduce is the one thing is the personal experience. Even if you say you don't have realization, I think that's not even the point, but it's the experience of practice that is handed on, that is a living tradition, makes up a living tradition. And at the same time, we have the oral instruction tradition, the tradition of actually passing things on orally and explaining how practice goes, how it feels, by handing this on. And this goes beyond the words of culture or beyond this situation. And whilst in traditions or in the Tersa tradition as such, you have traditional texts that are always used for a certain transmission, the oral transmission is flowing you can say it's not flowing in the Tibetan culture. It's very adaptive to every situation. I think whilst you say you have no realization, I don't think even it's the point to have this or that, but it's the life of practice that is not just intellectual learning and so on. And this is one big thing that we want to also introduce with the Center for Contemplative Tradition is to introduce knowledge about practice. And this is not only conveyed by manuals and texts, but it's conveyed by people practicing, by also a tradition of practice, not only just making things up and like how you felt, but there is actually a precise tradition of guidance and a precise transmission of explaining this, even though the words might change, which sometimes sounds a little bit contradictory even. Thank you so much, Freddie. See you in part 2.